So that's boxing at its finest right there. You heard it. They said it. Make that bet. Everything on the line.
Gervonta is an animal for real. Jake is too domestic. Here's the thing, Mike Tyson's an animal too. He was just 60, but he messed around and he got a prime Tank.
Gervonta Tank Davis is taking his preparation for the upcoming clash with Jake Paul to another level. His training camp has turned into a war zone, relentless sparring, explosive combinations on the pads, and punishing conditioning drills. Under the guidance of his elite coaching team, Tank's focus and intensity make one thing clear. He's out to prove that true boxing pedigree will always outshine internet fame. Boxing analyst Showbiz The Adult believes Jake Paul might have just made the biggest miscalculation of his career by calling out Gervonta Tank Davis, a fighter still in his prime and more dangerous than ever. He points out that Davis has already shown he can dominate bigger, stronger opponents like Ryan Garcia and Mario Barrios, proving that his success isn't just about power, but pure adaptability. According to Showbiz, Jake may think he's following the same formula that worked against older opponents like Nate Diaz, or even when he teased a bout with Mike Tyson. But this time, it's different. Tank isn't a retired legend looking for one last payday. He's an active, elite world champion with speed, precision, and knockout instincts. In Showbiz's eyes, Jake has entered a fight that could brutally expose the difference between a seasoned fighter at his peak and an entertainer still learning the game.
Emotionally, see if he's rattled. See, when it's all said and done, the whole talking shit goes out the window. Jake's scared. And let me tell you this too. I looked at I'm sizing them up. I'm looking at Tank and Jake, and I'm looking at him. Tank can reach him too. He reached Ryan Garcia. He reached Mario Barrios. I was like, he ain't gonna be able to reach him. He's gonna reach him, I saw Tank's gonna reach him. He knows he's gonna reach him. Listen, I wanna say this too. Funny as hell. Before I say all this, Alicia Baumgardner, shout out to you, girl. I couldn't believe out of all the women to be the first one to do 3 minutes, 12 rounds is Alicia Baumgardner. Now I really know if I have a great endurance, great stamina, and she's doing this shit. Shout out to Alicia Baumgardner. Because, what's her name, Layla? I don't really know her like that. But she looks like she ain't rattled by Alicia, so that's a perfect dance partner for that. Trying to drag Alicia Baumgardner into lake water, see what's going on with that. Shout out to Alicia Baumgardner. But let's get back to Tank. First of all, Tank knows what he's doing. Tank Davis, he said, he was just making all these implications that it's going to be scripted. When he said, you're paying me, and then he was like, yo, you're going to have to give me extra, and then he said that this is scripted.
At the end of the day, I gave this little guy an opportunity. He should be thanking me. I'm paying him. I'm his boss. He reports to me, and I'm going to fucking son him on November 14th. So fuck you, little man.
You paying me? Are you paying me?
Yeah.
100%. 100%. Facts?
Correct.
Yes? Correct?
Correct. I'm your daddy.
40. What 40 at?
Some boxing analysts suggest that Gervonta Davis might be stepping into deeper waters than usual with this matchup. They warn that Jake Paul's natural size and strength could become serious factors once the bell rings. While Tank's lightning-fast timing and knockout precision have made him dominant in the lighter divisions, taking on a heavier opponent pushes him into unfamiliar territory. Experts remind fans that weight classes exist for a reason, to keep competition balanced and protect fighters from dangerous mismatches. Even with Davis's world-class skill set and ruthless finishing ability, going up against a naturally bigger, stronger opponent like Jake Paul brings real risks that can't be ignored.
All of a sudden, we want to know, who will win in this fight? Jake Paul or Tank Davis? It's a legit question. And I actually want to really hear your thoughts on who do you think is going to win. Because I know what Vegas is saying, but I want to know what you think.
Personally, I think Tank too little, bro.
Yo,
I think Tank too little.
I'm so glad you have a brain on your fucking shoulder.
I think Tank too little.
I said, bro.
I think Tank's too little. That's what I'm saying. At weight classes for a reason.
Davis
that weight class for a reason.
5'5", 135 pounds. Jake Paul is 6 feet, 205 pounds.
That's what I'm saying.
Dog.
He's too
6'1",
little.
205. Everybody's like, yeah, bro, but Tank it only takes one good punch. Yes, it takes one good punch when you're about the same size. There's a 60, 70 pound difference in weight in these people. I don't think nobody puts the physics in mind. Jake Paul gets punched in the face by dudes 200 pounds with all their might on a weekly basis. A 135 pound puncher, bro. If y'all remember the Mayweather versus Conor McGregor fight, Conor walks around like 180 on the regular. He's like 5'9", 180. Mayweather's like 5'7", 145. That 30-pound, 20, 30-pound difference, bro, if you remember that fight, Mayweather was putting mittens on Conor. Guess what happened to Conor? He didn't hit the ground once. No. He lasted all 12 rounds getting hit with flurries. I'm talking about Mayweather was having his time. He's being cocky with it, hitting him with all kind of combos. And we're watching the last 3 rounds of that shit like, yo, knock him out. And you know what? He could not knock him out because Conor gets punched by people that are 170, 180 pounds on a regular. And just that 20, 30 pound difference, it was like impossible for him to do anything. And that's exactly what I feel like is gonna happen versus Jake and Tank.
Everyone watching Gervonta Davis at the press conference could see the difference right away. Calm, composed, and completely in control. While Jake Paul leaned into his usual theatrics, stirring up headlines and hype, Davis stayed cool and focused, carrying himself like a man who's been here before. His confidence wasn't loud or flashy. It was measured, rooted in experience and quiet belief. For Tank, this isn't about trending moments or viral clips. It's about proving that real boxing is still built on skill, patience, and ring IQ. Every word, every look spoke volumes. While Jake aimed to entertain, Davis embodied professionalism, the kind of focus only true champions possess. One thing became clear that day: Gervonta Davis isn't showing up to perform. He's showing up to dominate.
In the press conference, and you can tell, you can just look at him and tell, like, no, this dude he's gonna get this money for sure because there's so much money out there to be had. But Jake Paul better be not playing around, man. Not get cute, not play any games. Don't hit him in the back of the head. Don't rabbit punch him. Don't do any of that stuff, man, because Mike Tyson. First of all, Mike Tyson, a lot of people think Mike Tyson was pulling punches on Jake Paul, and a lot of people think that Anderson Silva was pulling punches on him too. You're not gonna have a little Gervonta out there pulling punches on you, man, if you're out there playing games. So, I don't like the fight at all. However, as far as it being an entertaining situation, I almost guarantee you that fight itself is going to be entertaining. That it's going to be something that you look at and you're going to say, man, everybody's going to watch it. Everybody's going to want to know what happens in it. But at the same time, it's kind of like what people think, when you see a car crash. Like, you're driving down the road and all of a sudden the traffic gets heavy and you're like, man, I'm going to be in traffic for a long time. And then you drive forward a little bit and then you see, oh man, this is some accident on the other side of the road and everybody just slowing down to watch. That's the type of entertainment that you can expect from this fight between Gervonta Davis and Jake Paul. There's going to be a lot of people watching it, but I gotta say, man, you really can't blame the guy on what he's doing. And there's a lot of criticism flying on Gervonta Davis. It's not Gervonta Davis's fault that boxing took this turn. This turn of these exhibition fights and people not caring about the belts and all of that stuff came with Floyd Mayweather Jr., man.
Boxing analyst Teddy Atlas has compared Jake Paul's upcoming clash with Gervonta Davis to the earlier exhibition between Logan Paul and Floyd Mayweather, but with one key difference. While Jake may hold the edge in size and reach, Atlas believes experience will be the real deciding factor. Davis has spent a lifetime sharpening his craft at the elite level, developing instincts and composure that can't be faked or taught. Unlike Logan's cautious dance with Mayweather, Jake is stepping in against a fighter who won't give him room to breathe. Atlas predicts that Tank's timing, precision, and fight IQ will completely neutralize Jake's physical advantages, turning this matchup into a masterclass in controlled aggression.
I want this, or I like this when I heard it. No, I didn't like it, to be honest, for the optics and everything else I just said. But you do have one guy who, yeah, he's smaller, but he's a top fighter, he can punch, and he's fighting a guy who's not a top pro fighter, who's bigger. What if he hits him on the chin? What if he hits him on the chin? It'll wind up selling. And that's what'll wind up selling it. The what if. What if Tank makes him do a cha-cha? He hits him on the chin, and Jake Paul, we're gonna find out if he can dance. Whoa, 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 whoa. Do the cha-cha. That's what's gonna sell it. And you can't argue that what if. You can't. I know I get to places that other people won't go and everything else, that just dismiss stuff because it's easier to do that, it's safer to do that. You don't have to bows and arrows coming at you from people that argue with you because you did that, but I don't care. I've had bows and arrows my whole life. I don't care. But that's true. That what if this guy who is a real good puncher, who is one of the best fighters in the world right now, what if he hits him? What if he makes a miss and he counters him? Or he jumps up in the air. Bang! And he hits him. Sid Terrace was a great fighter. No, not the 1700s, but years ago. And Cus D'Amato told me he loved Sid Terrace. He said, Teddy, he used to jump up in the air and hit you with 3 jabs. I said, whoa, man, Sid Terrace. All right. Anyway, look, I can't finish without saying that it did invoke some memories and thoughts that we've been here before in a different way, where Jake Paul's brother fought Mayweather. That's not forget. And I'm not saying I like that either.
Boxing analyst Luke Thomas recently offered an insightful take on Gervonta Davis as he prepares for his highly anticipated showdown with Jake Paul. While he praised Tank's trademark knockout power and killer instinct, Thomas pointed out a noticeable shift in his attitude this time around. Davis seemed calmer, more focused, and quietly intense, not out of fear, but from a deep understanding of what's at stake. According to Thomas, this version of Tank reflects maturity and perspective. It's not just about paychecks or fame anymore. It's about protecting his legacy and standing up for the essence of real boxing amid the rise of celebrity-driven fights. Thomas added that mental transformation often marks a turning point in great athletes. The real battle becomes psychological, testing their discipline, patience, and emotional control under bright lights. For Davis, that quiet determination could either sharpen his timing or weigh on him if the pressure builds. Either way, Thomas believes this evolution shows a fighter who's grown beyond raw talent, one who's ready to prove that pure skill and focus can still outshine hype and size.
So in that sense, it's a little bit different. It's not different in the sense of a boxer in his prime or relative prime straying off the path, but this one is not. It's not like someone else, in a similar weight. It's like completely the opposite, and so that makes it, I think, look and feel weird. And then on top of it, obviously, Gervonta's got other business to handle. He looked to me, Gervonta, absolutely, completely disinterested. Even at the beginning of this year, and even at the pre-fight Lamont Roach stuff, Tank was talking about how much time he has left in boxing, and he was wasn't much. The Lamont Roach fight, it blew up in his face, but Lamont Roach was cherry-picked. I think Tank thought, I'll just fight another guy from, the Mid-Atlantic area who's, remember Roach came up from 30 to 35 to fight him, and Tank thought he was just going to cruise, and then it blew up in his face, and you're left with that. So you're making a point about he's got this obligation. That's true, but he was already fucking around. He was already taking opponents that, again, I think Roach showed everyone that was a mistake, but put yourself in Tank's mind. Tank was taking a fight against someone he was clearly, in his mind anyway, better than, and was just going to cruise. So he was already in that state. Then you marry that with statements like, I don't know how much longer I'm going to be doing this, and blah, blah, blah. And, I'm worried about going to therapy because it'll take away my competitive edge. And, kind of teetering on the edge a little bit about whether or not this is a thing he wants to do. Then he, there's a draw in that fight.
The growing tension between Jake Paul and Gervonta Davis captures exactly why this fight has the whole world talking. It's more than a matchup. It's a collision between two realities. Their fiery face-off wasn't just about trash talk or intimidation. It was the perfect symbol of what this event represents. On one side, Jake Paul, the larger-than-life digital superstar turned prize fighter, powered by confidence, raw power, and relentless publicity. On the other, Gervonta "Tank" Davis, a seasoned world champion defined by precision, timing, and masterful fight IQ. This bout poses the ultimate question. Can raw size and showmanship truly overpower refined skill and experience? It's not just about pride, it's about what modern boxing has become. In today's era, athletic greatness and entertainment often share the same stage, blurring the line between sport and spectacle. Jake embodies the evolution of boxing as show business, while Tank stands for its traditional roots, discipline, legacy, and craft. As fight night approaches, fans aren't just waiting to see who lands the knockout punch. They're watching to see what this battle will say about the future of the sport itself, whether fame and fortune rule the ring, or whether pure skill and legacy still matter most.
Left hand down the pipe. You can even see here, I'm not even trying to do the whole body language breakdown, but you can even see Tank could get under that left hand because he's 5-0. He could roll under that left hand, and here comes the brick hand over the top. If he lands something like that in 10 ounces, I'm going to tell you this. Jake's 200 and something pounds. That's still going to hurt at the very least, and who knows what, because Tank's got ridiculous power. So Jake, a little sloppy on the push there. He got pushed. He wanted to get it back. There's something to be taken away from that, but lines up perfectly for a counter left hand. And you even see his promoter here is kind of grabbing his left hand because Tank wanted to let it fly. And Jake backed up a little bit. He said, oh, and Tank comes with that. Tank, man. Tank said, where I'm from, the bullies get bullied. All right, dude, there you go. Listen, takeaways from this thing, I don't know. Tank seemed to have a little bit more energy today. He seemed to be more lively. Him going back and forth with the media, with Jay Leon, with Jake, with Aiden Ross. There seemed to be a bit more energy today. That's all I really asked for. So in terms of, selling us on something, sure. Better job today from both guys. Jake, seemed a bit more locked in here with Tank as well. They had a little bit more fun. Tank going after Nikisa was pretty funny. But listen, this doesn't change anything in my mind. The 10-ounce gloves doesn't really change anything to me. I mean, again, I think that's a bad idea for Tank, more so because even if Jake doesn't land clean, those are 10-ounce gloves. It's still going to hurt. Tank is still punching in gloves that are 2 ounces heavier than he normally uses, so I don't know how that's a win for him. The $2 million bet almost certainly won't happen, which I didn't think would in the first place, but Tank pretty much confirmed it. And we're all left with the same kind of idea that we thought about this to begin with. This is an entertainment exhibition that we know is going to draw a ton of eyeballs. I'm going to watch, and there's going to be great high-level competition boxing on the underneath card. And even in the main event, if something is to happen, if someone is to get knocked out, it will go mega viral, and both these guys are going to make a shit ton of money.
That's it for today's video. Stay tuned for more updates. Until next time, take care and keep watching.